So, hello, people. Welcome back to the Tech of Tomorrow podcast with Sebastian Hidalgo. I'm Sebastian Hidalgo, and this is the show where we believe that the real tech of tomorrow are the humans driving the future and the innovation that's shaping our planet. On that note, today's guest is somebody that was recommended to me by the very first guest of this show, Alex. And our guest today is Jean Arnaud. He is the co founder of Nova AI, a startup that wants to revolutionize research and learning by giving the public all the tools they need to navigate today's information swamp of unverified information. So, quite relevant. And he's also the co founder of Ethos, a community of innovators that focuses on building the future of responsible AI. Again, super relevant. And with that, welcome, Jean. How are you?
I'm very good, and thank you for inviting me.
A pleasure to have you here. Listen, would you tell our audience more about, let's start with Ethos and then with Nova AI.
Yeah, okay. So I am the co-founder of Ethos. I mean, one of the co-founders. We are several, and it is a hub for AI innovators dedicated to centralizing global AI talent to define a golden age of responsible AI. So we think that AI will not change the world by itself, but it is the people working on AI who will shape its impact. So as you can see on my profile, if you're going on my personal website, on my post on LinkedIn, I am a strong advocate for integrating philosophical inquiry into the rapid development of AI. So for me, there is a need for a human-centered approach to ensure that technology enhances humanity rather than undermining it. And it brings me to the other one, to Nova. And Nova, as you well say, it is a company focused on using AI to accelerate research and combat misinformation and the co-found. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So a lot to unpack there. Let's start with responsible AI. For the people that are complete newbies, what is responsible AI?
So, what is responsible AI? It's the way that it is a way where um, how to define it clearly. So it is an ethical approach to be sure to ensure that AI is enhancing humanity and enhancing our effort instead of replacing it. I would say that it is the core, but after it translates in many ways when it comes to build the technology. So, for example, what we call in general ethical AI is an AI that would be transparent, for example, with the data uh, that has been used to build an AI product, for example.
Is there what is let me formulate this properly. Where does the danger of AI lie? In AI per se as a technology or in the people using it?
Yeah, I would say that a technology is not really dangerous by itself. It's more the use that we're doing of it. I mean, the best example is nuclear energy, right? You can use it for just energy, but you can use it to destroy the world or to destroy the town. I mean, we saw it in the past. So I think it's more about the human using the technology and the mindset that is behind.
Okay. And how do you, a lot of people are afraid that AI will change the world, but you mentioned that AI will not change the world by itself. So is there a risk that AI just becomes self-improving, self-building, and starts replacing us? Because we have a lot of talk of sci-fi talk that is
It's true.
misinformation probably. So how do you see that?
So first of all, I have to say that I am more a tech enthusiastic, but I have also my reserve. And I would say that there are real dangers of AI. And most of the time, because of this imagination that we have or the movies that we saw, we have tendency uh, to project ourselves in a world that where these technologies are dangerous in a way that um, that's just science fiction. It's not in the reality, but there are real danger in our reality that we should take care of. So, for example, the deep fake, and this is something that I'm showing during my conferences in general. It is very easy now to do a deep fake with AI. I can reproduce your face, your voice, and you will articulate the message in several languages without any accent. So make easier for people also. Or you can really reproduce your voice and your accent. So in this case, you can scam people in your family, you see, reproducing your voice. And this is what I'm showing with my video in general to the public. Everybody is laughing because I have a perfect British accent, for example, instead of my French accent. And they are like, oh, that's fun. Yes, it's fun. But imagine that now this same person is saying something that is completely irrelevant and that will be damaging my reputation. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. And I can tell you that it will be very complicated to get rid of this from internet. You will need to take a lawyer. It will take
Mhm.
months before you will be able to get out from this, and you will probably not repair the damage. This is a real danger. There is another danger. It's the cameras that we have everywhere and the datas and the lack of transparency where the data are going after. If, for example, the state are able to use AI and to run AI on these data, we never consent to this. So there is a big problem of data privacy here and a big problem for our human rights also. So this is something that is a real danger for me and maybe not the general fear that we can hear about the Terminator, that is, you see, this AI that will completely replace us and all our decision. Even if we are going we are going there with the agentic AI, for example.
It's it's so complex, right? We saw that happen last year in December to Taylor Swift, where the internet got flooded with deepfakes of her doing things. We'll not
Yeah,
specify which kind of things.
yeah,
And
but
if you're not Taylor Swift and you don't have the law power and money to just fight something like that, it can be terrible.
yeah, but I would say even if you're Taylor Swift, I mean, I'm not at her place, but I guess that it's not pleasant when you know that your face is everywhere on internet in in um, in a role that is not you, and you fought a lot during your life, and she fought a lot during her life to exist as a singer, for example. I don't like her music, but I respect her as a human being. And after all this work that you're trying to do, to be just reduced to something that you're not, it has to be difficult, I think,
It
to
has to be terrible, a bit humiliating too, because it's not you.
absolutely.
You would never do something like that. But even another, use case, let's call it that way, a dangerous use case, like somebody could send a deep fake video of you to your family and you're being kidnapped and they're actually asking for money.
Yeah, I mean, we can imagine a lot of scenario, but something that is very probable. I mean, I just imagine sometimes my grandmother, she's old and she could be very easy prey for scammers. So yeah, I think these are real dangers for I would say normal people, people who doesn't really care of AI and who can be just trapped by this.
How do we put that on a leash? Meaning, we saw recently OpenAI launched the new the voice mode. It sounds
Yeah.
super realistic. It can imitate accents. You already can imitate anyone's voice. With innovation going so fast in AI, how do we put that under control?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. I mean, I think we are several experts in this area, and we don't really know what to do with that. I mean, there is this European chart that that aim to come with a legal frame to avoid what happened with the social media and internet in general. I mean, I don't know if you already asked this question, but maybe it's not normal to not have any digital identity. We thought that internet should be a free zone, but maybe freedom, and this is more philosophical, but maybe freedom needs to be constraints sometimes in a legal frame to protect the general freedom. I mean that, like, yeah, laws are here to protect us as a people, as a mass of people. And I find this very, very strange that we didn't try from the beginning to regulate more internet, and that it came very, very late in the history of internet. We saw also for the social media how much social media can be hateful,
Yes.
and full of attitude that you will not have in reality. So I think maybe it's time to just regulate this attitude and think that freedom is not doing what you want always, but that freedom is respecting the people and the freedom of the others. So I would say that to come back to your question, that Europe chose to frankly intervene in this and to put a frame to this with this problem that stops sometimes the innovation. And there is already a gap between the progress of innovation in the United States and the progress of innovation in Europe. So maybe it will just increase this gap. Now we are going to United States, and maybe there's not enough rules. So recently, and it's very recent, it's several days ago, United States signed an agreement with the other countries about a new frame. But what we are doing with Ethos, for example, is very interesting from this point of view, because we are trying with the community, with intellectuals and builders, to build what we call the golden age of AI, which means that the regulation is coming from the community itself. We are creating the responsible AI while we are building. We're creating our rules kind of with the policies makers when we are building. So the approach is more horizontal and not completely vertical. So I think comparing these two approaches is interesting. You may not believe that the rules can come from the community, but I think it does. It does.
And sometimes I will have the rules come from a community rather than from the European Union. That's my opinion. How do you, you brought it up, you touched on it briefly. How do you see, meaning, do you think the European Union has in mind the best interests of European entrepreneurs? Or do they have to step over those in order to guarantee more protection to the people?
So it's very difficult for me to answer to this question, because I'm always between the American culture and the European culture, and there are things that I like in both systems. I would say that the European approach in general, that try to be very careful about people with a social system, for example, seems to me very good, but maybe too sometimes, I would say, authoritarian, but not in a strong way, but that sometimes maybe our government should trust maybe a little bit more the community itself, that there is an intelligence that is coming from the community. I would say there is a collective intelligence that works also. Again, this is what we believe, and this is why we built Ethos at the beginning, because we believe in this collective intelligence. And maybe this is the American approach, that think that maybe the state should not intervene directly, but that there is a freedom that is necessary to build a society that is harmonious. But again, I'm always between these two systems, because I see also in America that the lack of intervention from the state sometimes, or just brings you what you see the first time that you're going in the United States, which means misery, homelessness, a lot. and the problem with health. Like for us, it is so crucial that we have a system that protect us. Sometimes, um, yeah, there is two culture, and sure, because the American culture is less protective, it makes you, I would say, almost naturally more. You will become more entrepreneur in your life because you need to fight all the time for
Mhm.
yourself, for your for your family, for all the people you love. So yeah, it's just two different culture.
I'm always torn too because I like that fast progress American style. I also understand and admire how much European countries care for their people. I used to live in Italy, in the north of Italy, and the health
Mhm.
system was amazing. So I cannot even fathom, for example, a health system like the American one, where things are not free. Like health should be a
Yeah,
basic human right, right? So I'm always torn, but in general, vastly against government regulation, except the AI thing is complicated, right? Because I would like European companies to stay competitive from one side. From the other, as you said, there's so many dangers to just letting this go unregulated. And that's a hard balance to strike.
exactly. And I think this balance is not easy to find. And I think no one can say right now if somebody found the right way to do it. Um, um, I just see there is a more profound problem even than just this legal frame. I would say it's the vision that we have. I think that, and this is why I'm talking a lot about the importance of philosophy in technology. And um, I think this is what I saw when I was a student at Stanford University, where I saw all these brilliant people building technology um, with a lot of advance in progress in their vision. I mean, it was incredible. It was 20 years in advance sometimes. But even if I was impressed by the technology they were building, like simulation, everybody was already talking about VR and AI. It was more than 10 years ago. So it was really in advance. But at the same time, I never saw really people interested by building a technology that is meaningful for humanity. And that disturbs me because this is where the shift is happening. And I think this is what I'm advocating for, to build a meaningful technology, a technology that is thought by advance. And this is where philosophy is interesting because we're forced to first of all ask ourselves who we are, what is our essence, what is our role in this world, what we want to build as a technology, and where we want to go. And if we don't answer to these questions before, I don't see how we can build a meaningful technology. And this is not a question of legal frame. This is first a question of a philosophical vision. Do we have a philosophical vision for ourselves? I don't think so right now, and I think it is a mistake.
How do you get people to think about a philosophical vision when everybody just wants to move fast and make money?
I think it is a state of mind, and this state of mind starts by education. But sure, if the only thing that we learn at school, instead of questioning ourselves, instead of uh, having a lot of skills to face a more complex reality, um, if instead of this the goal is just to win money, I don't know. This is very superficial for me as a goal. And I think this is because philosophy almost disappeared from all the educational system. If you're going in United States, but even in Europe, even in France, where you still have philosophy, but just before universities, the last year before the university, the last year of high school, this is not enough. This is not enough. We should have more literature. We should have more art also. It's not just about science, coding, and physics. I think, and this is what I'm saying all the time. Technology is forcing us, is inviting us to um, to to be more versatile and to be a multiple experts in every field. We need that because the world is more and more complex. And because it's more and more complex, we cannot just be expert in one field. We need to be multiple expert. And AI will help us in this, I think.
It's interesting because I did have philosophy in school in Italy, 3 years.
Oh, very
I
good. Very
yes,
good.
I do see the value of that. Like we went all the way from Greek philosophy up to, the last century. I do see the value in that. So would you agree in saying that the change, the shift has to start from the education system?
Yes, I think it has to change with the educational system. I mean, I built a school, online school several years ago, and the first thing that I wanted people to take was philosophy because I was saying, and from the younger age, even in primary school, I think that you can start with philosophy to question the world, to question all the certainties, everything that we think uh, um, that exists forever, but that can be questioned. I mean, this is a role of philosophy to question all our certainties and to redefine values for ourselves. And this can come after in middle school and high school. But I think philosophy is essential now, not only to understand our world, but to question it and to redefine it. And without this, I don't see how, again, how we can, without vision, I don't see how we can build a meaningful technology that is able to make a greater world. And yeah, this is what I'm calling all the time. We are in the era of the new renaissance. This artificial intelligence is inviting us to question ourselves like before the great discoveries forced us also to question ourselves in the world. What is a place in our world? And the science invited us to ask the same question. Right now, the artificial intelligence is inviting us to say who we are, what we want to be, and what is artificial intelligence. I was with a at a conference of Yann Lequin at Harvard, and we have a good discussion after, very interesting. And I agree with him that AI is not here just to reproduce the human intelligence. It's something else. And we will use this something else to be better. But we need for this to have the right mindset to guide this artificial intelligence to be better. If we don't guide it, we will not be better.
It reminded me of something my high school philosophy teacher used to say, which is that we're all born philosophers because if you have ever met a kid, the main question they ask is why. They have the why face, and
Yeah.
they go through like a year of just asking why until we stop because our parents tell us it's annoying and our teachers tell us it's annoying and we stop asking why. But we are kind of born philosophers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we all have our existential questions. We never stop with that, but now it is about not question at the individual level, but at the collective level, because we are all uh, um, we will be all concernés. I have the word in French now. We will be this AI is a problem for all of us.
Yes.
So yeah.
Would you say I'm thinking because do you see right now any use cases of AI that you see, okay, this is good for humanity?
Oh yeah, I see. I see. I mean, I have several of use cases. So first of all, there is an approach that is very interesting that started with generative AI. It's called the interactive approach. So you don't use AI just to generate things, but you interact with it. You consider it as a collaborator, an assistant, an ally. I mean, call it as you want, but somebody with who you something with who you interact, and that allows you to have more and more ideas to uh, overcome yourself, I would say, because thanks to AI. So this is what we're using in education, for example. You ask, for example, if you're creating art, you start by a Canva, and you insert your Canva and you write a nice prompt. I mean, not just a one sentence, but a real prompt, a detailed prompt, a metaphorical prompt, symbolical prompt, whatever. When you have some results and that you chose your good result, you take it back and you paint over it. When you paint over it, you go back to the machine, and etc. etc. So there is a real collaboration with a human and machine, and I think this is where it starts to be interesting. Probably you use ChatGPT and you know this is the same thing. If you just tell him, oh, write me an article about AI and philosophy, you will have like um, ideas that everybody has. There's nothing original, nothing very consistent or substantial. You really need to rewrite it. So the best is to write and to have suggestion from the machine, to integrate the suggestion, and sometimes to discuss what the machine proposed. And this is how you can build something, I think, more substantial. Now, some engineers and some researchers are trying to integrate this process in the machine itself. So
Okay.
and this is where it starts to be interesting. So some researchers at MIT, they're doing this with the music, and you have another player while you're playing, for example, and the machine adapt with what you're doing. So yes, it's just the beginning, but we are getting it there, and that's an original approach, for example.
It's funny because that's how I use AI, right? I will write something and I will feed it to like ChatGPT or Perplexity, and I will tell it, find every weakness in my argument. And so I will improve what I'm writing based on the critique the AI is giving me. Or another thing I usually do is like rubber duck debugging. You're stuck on
Uh-huh.
an idea.
Yeah.
Instead of talking to the rubber duck, I just turn on ChatGPT and I to the voice mode I start talking. Like, hey, I'm stuck with this. What do you think? It
Yeah,
is
and
good because it's brainstorming.
yeah, it's brainstorming. And sometimes you can even disagree with the chat GPT, and this is where it starts to be also interesting when you disagree. You can also ask instead of asking yourself to the machine, you can ask the machine to ask you question to solve your own problems, which is the Socratic method. It was used by Khan Academy. I mean, my school was using this too, and I think there was a pilot project at Stanford that was using this method also. I mean, this is very interesting for education. For example, you ask the machine to ask you a question.
We
And
keep circling around the topic of education, and I have it in my notes here. What do you think will be the role in 5 years of AI in education? Will we have what will be also the relationship between AI and teachers?
that's a very interesting question also. So I've been teachers for 15 years now. I don't have uh, enough time to do it anymore, like as I used to do, but I would like to be more involved, but I don't have time. But yeah, I think you can use AI as a teacher to individualize education, and I think that's great because this is how it should be. Education should be personalized. So you can use AI to track the progress. For example, you can have a better assessment. You can assess by skills, and when you assess by skills, you can have a chat with a student and say, "Look, we use the AI on your copy and your assessment, and if I try to measure these skills, and these skills, you see that this is missing, and this is where you need to work." You can use AI also to strategize and how to remediate to your problems, which are different from different students, right? So I think this is a main way for a teacher to use it to personalize education. He can also use AI sometimes to verify if what is saying is true or not. I mean, as a teacher, it is you always trust the book. And often you trust the book when you don't do your lesson yourself. So I was in literature, you cannot really do that. But I know that in a lot of fields, you can do that. In mathematics, for example, or science. But with the AI, it's another tool to verify if the information are good or not, which makes probably your lesson more effective and more data oriented also, I think.
Okay. Uh, isn't, you know, shouldn't the education system change insofar as, we keep seeing how students are using ChatGPT to deliver, to do their exams. Like, shouldn't we change how we evaluate people? Like,
Oh yeah.
knowledge is a commodity right now. Like ChatGPT has the knowledge. So how do we change the evaluation process? Education cannot be just about repeating stuff you learned.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Education is really at the point um, where everything needs to change. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have marks. It's better to have skills that are evaluated and not just a mark that doesn't mean anything. I mean, just imagine if you were doing sport, you are ice hockey player, and you're coming for the training the Monday, and the Monday you have a 15 on 20, and the Wednesday you don't have 15, you have 16, and Friday you have 12. What does it mean? What does it mean? If we had this system of mark in sport, everybody would say, this is absurd.
Yes.
And I think this is absurd because what is important is why you didn't succeed at doing this exercise and how you can find a solution to be successful. I mean, this is how should be education. Education should be, sorry. And you are right also on the knowledge. I mean, the knowledge is very important, but we have now a lot of tools, uh, including, I mean, Google for many years. Everybody is using Wikisource, Wikipedia, and all of this. This is not what is so important now. The skills like solving problems, critical thinking, creativity, all these skills are necessary. And I think we don't do it well at school. You don't really learn how to speak in public, which is fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
You don't learn how to have several type of writing, creative writing, but also promotional writing, uh, analytical writing, commentary, and all of this. Everybody should be able to write in different way. And there is something that you said a little bit earlier that is very interesting. It's now the power of oral communication, because now we will have this tool to talk to. I will take you the example of my wife. My wife adopted the chat GPT voice very fast. Why? Because she's the co-founder at Nova, and we were first to integrate this voice tool, and she adopted very quickly. And now she's writing her article by talking. She's
Wow.
talking to the machine. She's talking to the machine. And after the machine is writing what she talked, and she corrects it with this. And after she rewrite the article based on this, but all the process is oral. And I found this revolutionary. I think a lot of people will use the voice now to write, and this is a paradigm shift because you don't write the way you talk. But now
Yes.
the way we will write, we will based on the way we talk.
Also, some people are born with the writing skill. It's innate. Like it's
Oh
my
yeah.
case, right? And when people talk to me about writing, for many people, it's difficult. They tell
Yeah.
me, I don't know how to write. And to me, writing is like speaking, it's just natural. But I understand that it's not for everybody. But if you start writing with your voice, for a lot of people, it will become easier all of a sudden to write a book because they just need
Yeah,
to talk to the machine.
exactly. And imagine, and I love this idea. Imagine how much the dyslexic people suffered from the system we are, which is based on writing. I mean, all the contests that you have in France is much more centered on writing than on speaking, which is an absurdity also, because in life you need more speaking skills than writing skills. I
Yes.
mean, I'm a good writer. I wrote books and everything. I'm a good writer, but I mainly use in my daily life speaking, communication, public speaking skills than writing skills. And I just imagine all the people that has been discriminated just because their writing were not good. And they always feel that they were stupid just because they were not able to write. But now it's over. These
It's
people will
over.
be able to shine because of their ideas and because the ChatGPT will help them to have a good writing and to be understood by people. I really love it.
I think, with all the dangers that come with AI and all the like the ethical problems, I think we have an opportunity as a Western society, at least, to shift the focus because we got lost at some point during education. I think the goal of learning history wasn't to just know history by heart and repeat everything that happened. I think the goal of learning history should be, how do we not repeat those mistakes they made in the past? How do we
Yeah,
replicate the success? So we can shift education to lessons and reasoning rather than just, hey, tell me what Kant did word by word in that book. That's
I mean,
useless.
I mean, I agree. I agree 100%. History should be about reasoning, and I think a lot of teachers are trying to do it this way. But yeah, I'm coming from a generation where you were just like uh, repeating exactly as you said what you learned in class, and this doesn't bring anything. Everything is about reasoning, how you can learn from what happened and in which direction we can go, based on which model. And this should be the sense of the history we learned at school, for example. So you are right. I think the shift will be that everything will be more about reasoning and less about repeating, which is good. The education will be more personalized and less about the a class of 40 people, the same education for 40 people, which doesn't make sense. Which
Yes,
doesn't
makes
make
no
sense.
sense.
And yeah, so I think that's the good things with the revolution that is coming. If we are leading it the good way, I think a lot of old paradigm will change, and for a greater good.
Let's talk about the bad things, meaning
Yeah,
there is a debate right now going on intellectual property, creativity, and AI.
yeah,
Hollywood using more and more, or thinking about in the future maybe using more and more AI to generate movies. You borrow somebody's face, you put a voice,
yeah.
budget gets lower, but people don't work. How do you see that? How do we fix the problem with artists and AI?
Okay, so I have a very controversial thinking about this.
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay. So I think So first of all, I think that yeah, there is a law about the copyright, and if there is a copyright infringement, that should be punished by law. So that's the first thing, because finally, what fixes the good and evil in a society, it is the law. Okay. Now that we say that, we can maybe consider that everything that has been produced by a human belongs to humanity. And I really think that we are bigger as a human than our ideas. What counts is not just to have an idea in a life, but 1,000. What counts is not to write one text, but 100. And when you die, what counts is not the name that you leave behind, but your thoughts. And if your thoughts belongs to humanity and can be enriched by humanity, I think it's great. So I will tell you something. I have no problem if people are taking my thoughts. I have no problem if people are enriching my thoughts, um, because all our ideas are coming from somewhere.
Hmm.
I will say something maybe also controversial, but if we have a discussion now and that we don't record, and that one of us starts to write something because he had ideas during the conversation, I don't know, this idea is from you or from me? Is it from both of us? To who it belongs? Will you quote me? Probably no. Will you give me credits if I have a good idea and if it was not recorded? Maybe not. And is it important? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Uh, I am not sure that I always thought that our ideas were more important than our name. I don't really mind if Einstein say that, but I mind that somebody say that.
Okay.
You see?
What what if what if your livelihood depends on the ideas though? What if you're a writer and then all of a sudden people start taking your
No,
job?
no, but exactly. So that was that was just an idea. Now you have a real problem that is how we can remunerate or pay the author or yeah the writers, the poets, and they are essential to our society. And that's a real question. So until now we have this copyright, but I can take like hundred of example in literature where the great authors copy another great author, but it is so far in the history that everybody just forgot about this. But I can play with that. Um, you know that, for example, the famous word of Nietzsche, um, become what you are, is coming from Goethe, and it was also in Pindar
Really?
literature. But yeah, but to know that, you need to read all the Greek. You see, so I have multiple examples like this. We Everything we think is is coming from somewhere. Our ideas, our art. I mean, it's the same in art. How many times you see the same picture that has been clearly inspired by somebody else? It is always like this. So you can say, yeah, but inspiration is not the same than a thief, right? To be a stealer is not the same that just take a part of it. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But I would say that if you're a stealer and if you steal all the ideas, at one point you will be not able to develop anything by yourself.
Mhm.
If you are a stealer, you need to be really also a creator, and you need to go further, or you will just be a stealer.
Okay.
So at one point you will be punished by your own habit, I would say. But if you're really good at what you're doing, you will be able to go further. So what I'm saying is that the real question is maybe not uh, who is the owner of an idea, of an art, of whatever. It is maybe how we can find a solution to pay the artist, the intellectual, the researchers, how we can do that. And I'm not sure to have an answer to this, but maybe that we have different, we never tried to do something else, but maybe we should try. Maybe, for example, I don't know how you call this in English, I forgot. In French, we say le revenu universel.
Universal basic income?
Oh yeah, okay. So this, I met, I had the chance to talk last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly, with one of the Nobel Prize in economy, and her and her husband are working on this. Um, and why to not imagine that the artist, they have this, and how, I mean, if we have a society that works on this kind of revenue, we can maybe all be artists, and that will be maybe amazing to have this revenue. Now, how we can grow it, I don't know. I don't have the idea to do that, but maybe this is a challenge of our society to find
Okay.
an idea to do that.
So do you think we'll have a future where people barely work because of AI doing stuff for us?
I mean, I would dream of a future where we are not forced to go to a work that we hate. And I think
That sounds like a nice future.
and I think unfortunately this is a situation now. I don't think that most people like what they're doing, because we like what I mean. I think we humans, we are creators, and I think um, we are better when we create. And I think that human would be better if we were not forced to do something that we ate 13 hours a day. So if robots can do it, if AI can do something that we ate, like I would say, go for it. Uh, if we need to install a tax for a robot and to pay human with that, let's do it. And if because of this we start to create more, to be more attentive to the others, if we start to be more mission driven, I think this is a kind of world I would like to live in.
Would you say that's the world you're building with your companies?
This is a word that I'm trying to build, but at a very small level, I would say. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. All my activities, I'm trying to help the others. I'm trying to inspire the others. I'm trying to share my knowledge with the others. I'm trying to empower the others, and I'm trying to make this world, I think, a better place to live, but not in a superficial way. I would say in a meaningful way.
Mhm.
Uh, and I hope that, for example, we I think that, for example, there is a problem, and Victor Hugo say that already in a front of the assembly in France in the 19th century. He said that he doesn't understand how a civilized world can tolerate homelessness and misery, and I agree with him. And we are in 21st century, and this problem still exists. How can we say uh, that we are bright, that we have all this technology if we cannot solve this basic problem of misery?
Agree. So, what is your vision for Ethos and Nova AI in 10 years? Where are you taking this?
So Nova would be, I think, an essential tool for the research in general. It will help the researchers to find the right papers faster. It will help them to produce more efficiently and to not lose time in something that is very absurd, also formatting papers. I don't know if you did a master or PhD. I mean, it's really a pain. It's a pain to format papers, to go dot after dot and to correct all of this. So I think that AI really can help in this, can help to find in this ocean of papers the right papers that relevant for your research, for example. This is where Nova should be, and I think Nova should help also with misinformation and how to find on internet something that is based on scientific research and reliable research. This is a goal with Nova. With Ethos, the goal is really to have all the best brain in the world, the best researcher, the best builder in AI, and 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 build just with them ethical product which are meaningful for humanity, product that are thought not just to make money, but to make money and to do something good. And I think if everybody had in their head when they are building something, I build something, but not just something that is good for humans, again, the world would be better and in the better state.
Great. What's the in this? Those are two big missions, and you are running two companies. You know, some people like struggle with one. So, what are the challenges you're facing right now in running two companies and pursuing two visions?
I mean, I don't really run these companies. I mean, I am very active in Ethos. I am less in Nova. I just founded Nova, but people are working
Hmm.
to build it. So I think that the goal is to when you're an entrepreneur and when you are a founder, the goal is to have a vision. I'm good at it, but I'm not necessarily good at operations. So I
Mhm.
need other people. I understood a long time ago that I have a set of skills that I can progress, but I need to be surrounded by people to progress. And I'm good to have vision. I'm good to write. I'm good to sell my vision. I'm yeah, and I'm good at finding the right people to operate and to embody this vision. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for money. If I make money also, that's great, but I'm doing it for to have an impact on this world. And I think that I can have money and to have an impact on this world. And when I will have a lot of money, and I hope it will happen, I will share a part with the organization, nonprofit organization, because I don't need to have 10 houses, 10 cars, or no, I don't need that. When I see that some people are suffering in the streets.
One of my clients says always, It's good money to do good." And I've always liked that saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I think so. I think so. And again, I think you have a lot of ways to exist in this world with more than enough. And when you have more than enough, you really need to redistribute, but in a positive way, in a sustainable way, not in a way that it is just a charity.
so and we are closing in on 1 hour.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you what I usually ask people as a last question, which is, what is a controversial opinion you have that nobody agrees with, but you still stand by?
I think the one on the copyright.
The one on the cover, yes. I bet that could get you a lot of hit on social media, right?
No, yeah, I think I mean nobody agrees with me on this because I think we live in a in a world that is driven by ego,
Mhm.
and we are really raised in this idea that when we have an idea, we own it, and we need to put our name on this, and our name is very important, and we are very important. No, I don't think so that, and I think the opposite. I think we are not so important, but what we're doing is important.
Okay.
As it's not our name that should stay. It's what it is what we did.
Okay. So would you have a message for listeners that are either running businesses, which is the people who listen to this show, or if there are any people who are building AI?
Hmm. So I would say that build build a product that can have an impact on this world because this is our responsibility to make this world a better place to be. And yeah,
That's a great message. Listen, Jean, where can people find you on social media, online? Where can they find out more about your companies?
I think they just write Jean Arnaud on Google and I will be on the top result. You have a LinkedIn, Jean Arnaud Nova, Jean Arnaud Ethos. But again, it's not me. I'm not so important. It's what I'm doing that is important. So they shouldn't try to research for what I'm doing. They should or join me or join the mission uh, or join the vision or do something by themselves to change the world. This is
How
what
can
they
they join you?
how can they join me? So they can go on Ethos
They can
and
go on
and,
Ethos.
and if they're building AI, there will be a place for them if they're building a responsible AI. Yeah.
Perfect. That's amazing. Listen, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
I really like this conversation. We went
Yeah, me
deep.
too. It was amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. People, this was the Tech of Tomorrow podcast with Sebastian Hidalgo. I am Sebastian Hidalgo. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like based on the platform you're at. It really helps the channel, the podcast, whatever. We are already ranking number 14 in business in a minor country. Thank you guys who are listening from there. I would love to have more of those though. So please, please, please keep listening so I can bring more great guests like Jean Arnaud here to the show. With that
Yep.
said,
Thank
see you
you.
next week. Yeah,
Bye bye.
Jean, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm
No.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.